Well, hello, kinesiology students. It's Mr. Krene here, and I just wanted to highlight a couple of things about the energy systems labs that I've been seeing over and over again as I'm evaluating them, and I just wanted to highlight them to everybody. The first thing is use your data to inform your responses. In the question 2, when I ask for your pointing out of when your subject changed energy systems and your reason for why you chose those, you need to go back to your data and you need to go and say, well, this was a significant change in the time that it took for them to run the stairs. And based on my knowledge of energy system X, then I know that is likely a significant change, and that's probably where the change occurred. A lot of you are just stating, well, I learned that this is when it's supposed to change, therefore this must be when it did change. So what you're doing is not science, and when we do a lab, we're trying to use this at least a slightly scientific method. Even though this was a more informal lab, we are still saying, hey, I see this data, and based on this data, I'm interpreting my responses. Don't take your data and say, well, it must be this because I learned that time is what it's supposed to be. There's a difference, and it's really important if you are going into the sciences, the health sciences in the future. We need to do research that is evidence-based, and this is a very small part of that, but you need to do that even in smaller labs or more informal labs like this. Number 2, a lot of you said, my hypothesis for this experiment is that people will, get longer times because they'll get more fatigued. They're just going to gradually get more tired, and therefore the times will just gradually change. That's a very elementary response. I could probably take a first grader, and they would probably understand that the more I exercise, the more tired I get. What we're looking for is a more physiologically focused idea behind, well, what is tired? Now, what is the science behind you getting fatigued? And now we know, it's actually a change in energy systems. It's a change in the way that ATP is delivered. And that's where my tired gets from. And of course, there's byproducts involved, and there's limitations on these energy systems. And that should inform your response there, right? You really should be explaining, hey, based on my knowledge, I'm predicting probably there's going to be a tiered, change to my energy systems. And so rather than like a gradual, I'm just getting more and more tired on a gradual basis, right? I've kind of graphed the results from the video here, and you can see, right, there's a definite tier. We'll never go back to our immediate alactic system the same again because we're running out of a certain substance. And then there's another tier here for our short-term lactic acid system. And that's because we need energy anaerobically, but we've run out of that substance, and therefore we need to get to that energy system in order to deliver the amount of energy we need. Of course, there's a byproduct of that's really limiting us and slowing us down. And so we need to switch to this final long-term oxygen system. And this, tier would kind of continue pretty statically on that level for as long as you were exercising. It's not gradual. And yes, you get tired, but what is tired? This is where, we're trying to help you in kinesiology understand some of these more deeper issues. And just finally, lactic acid definitely causes pain and fatigue, and that's something we know and we feel, but it also does more than that. It also slows down the glycolytic reaction. In an acidic environment, that reaction gets slowed down, and our ability to deliver ATP as quickly as we want to our muscles just gets more and more and more inhibited. So even if you can sit in that pain, and some of you can, some of you had results that didn't look like this because you were able to have a lot faster times the longer you went. And you should interpret your results, to say, hey, I'm an elite athlete that trains my short-term lactic acid system. And you can sit in that pain longer, but eventually, you're also going to have this slower and slower glycolytic reaction that will limit the speed in which you can get ATP delivered. And therefore, you got to switch, right, to your long-term oxygen system at some point. You also have an increase of lactic acid that your body can't regenerate or get rid of through gluconeogenesis. So you eventually have more waste than energy, and your body can't continue on that way. So there's that limit. So yes, pain, a lot of you said, yeah, there's pain and fatigue involved. Yes. But don't forget that there's also a change to the reaction itself in glycolysis. So just a few points, just a little bit of clarification there. Hope that helped. All the best.